Hello, I'm Claire.
And I'm Laura.
How are you?
I'm really well today. I'm really
Ooh.
well. I have had the last couple of weeks, I've been in a right old miserable place. And yesterday I watched some really inspiring videos and listened to some audios that have absolutely changed my perception of my world. So I'm in a really good place.
Oh, nice.
How about you?
I'm okay. I too have been in a bit of a funk for the last couple of weeks, and I think the thing I find interesting about that is like once upon a time I'd have done anything to try and fix it. And you know what I've learned through my journey is it's not about fixing the funk. It's about just allowing the funk to be and kind of just being in it for a bit. So I'm alright. I'm just kind of plodding on really.
Marvellous.
I'm gonna watch some of that stuff that you watched though. That sounds like it's some good shiz dizzle.
It was some really good shiz dizzle, and the interesting thing about the shiz dizzle is it's stuff I already know, and it's stuff that I have watched and listened to in the past. It's, if anybody knows of The Secret, if you don't know about it, go check it out. Just type into Google The Secret. And I first discovered it probably about, I don't know, 5 or 10 years ago, and it touched me at the time. And I've watched it about 3 times in my life, but there was something about watching it yesterday that totally it just resonated for me on a different level. So it's I can really recommend checking it out. It's given me a fire up my bum.
Nice.
And not in a bad way, not in an IBS kind of way.
Oh yeah, kind of constipation hemorrhoids kind of way. Yeah, it's interesting that, isn't it? You know, often we have to watch things many times to get different insights from them. Like it just drops into a different part of our neural networking, right?
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I've had a real calling to watch or to read, because I preferred the book, The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And that was all about this guy kind of finding himself and his spiritual pathway. And I really loved those books, and I didn't like the film so much, but I've just had a real call to watching those. And then yesterday something popped up on my newsfeed on Facebook about The Way of the Peaceful Warrior, and I was like, yep, it's a sign. I need to reread that.
Yeah. You'll get something different from it.
Totally.
Okay, so today's topic is one that I've chosen, and it's failure. And the reason that I wanted to talk about this is it's a big one, actually. I meet a lot of people, and it was also my experience to stay away from failure as much as possible. And we've had some experiences recently where we've had to let go of some big bits of our business. And I remember feeling I could feel failure in having to let go of some of those parts of the business, even though they weren't serving us anymore. And
even though it was absolutely our choice.
Yeah, but there still felt like a feeling of failure. And it's quite an icky, I think it gets mixed up with the feeling of shame, and I know that many of us want to stay away from that feeling because it just feels really, really icky.
It's like we kind of call them sort of very low vibration emotions, don't we? Like joy and happiness and excitement. They're all kind of very high vibration emotions. They're all sort of up here, but shame, anger, they're all very low vibration.
Yeah, really, really icky. And what I was listening to a talk yesterday, and it touched on failure, and it made me realise that failure is what you make it. It's how you look at it. And it's a big thing that I recommend to a lot of practitioners that I work with, is we're always so afraid of going and doing something wrong, or for example, standing up in front of people and giving a talk and being really nervous because there is that fear of failing and getting it wrong and making a fool of ourselves. But the thing with failure is it's how we learn, and it's experience. And if we were to do it perfect every time, then we would not get the lessons from it. And so my mindset has really changed around failure. I'm starting to embrace it. I'm starting to actually welcome it, because every time we go through a failure and we look at it as a learning and we take something from it, then it enriches our lives, and it's really done this for me.
There was actually a really great quote on Facebook this morning that said, if you aren't making mistakes, then you aren't taking enough risks.
I love it.
I love it too. And there's that great quote from Thomas Edison, the guy who invented the light bulb. And, you know, it took him 2,000 attempts to create the light bulb. And somebody said, that the story is, somebody said something about, you know, how did you cope with the failures? He said, well, I didn't have 2,000 failures or 1,999 failures. I learnt ways not to do it. Love that.
Amazing. Really amazing. It's changing the perception of how you see failure.
Yeah.
See it as a learning. And I think it's incredible that guy did it 2,000 times.
Oh, that's some real tenacity.
Oh
Man,
my God,
is that some tenacity.
I think I sent you a text yesterday saying, you know, the definition of success is to, damn it, I'm going to do it, fail. Damn it, I'm going to do it, fail. Damn it, I'm going to do it, fail. And you just keep going. And I think we're really at that place in our business where just keep going, Thelma.
There's a great story. Actually, I read this the other week. And there's a really beautiful book, and it was written sometime, I think about the 1920s, 1930s, by a man called Napoleon Hill, and it's called Think and Grow Rich. And it's actually the basis of all of today's manifestation work. So, you know, like, you know, Mike Dooley or The Secret. It's the basis for all of that stuff. And it's really cute little book. And he tells this story of a man during the gold rush who had come from Colorado, and he had, oh, maybe he'd gone to Colorado. Anyway, the geography doesn't matter. He'd gone to the place where the gold rush was, and he'd bought his couple of meters of land, and he'd started to dig, and he started to dig, and he started to dig. And after 2 weeks of digging, he found gold. He hit the seam of gold. Oh my God, this is amazing, so exciting. So he went back home, and he spoke to all of his family and friends, and he got them all to give him money so that he could go and buy the equipment so that he could start the drilling. So he bought all his equipment, and off he went. He went back to his seam. And for, you know, months and months and months, it was just, you know, gold pouring out. It was like, you know, all their Christmases had come at once. And he was able to pay all the money back and, you know, all of this. And then the gold stopped. And he was like, well, where's the gold gone? You know, I've paid back the money, but I've not actually earned anything yet. Like, I've just paid everybody back. And they dug and they dug and they tried to change direction, and they, you know, did all this other stuff. And after a couple of weeks, he went, I've hit my limit. This is it. I'm done. And so he packed up. By this point, he'd sort of spent all his money sort of redigging, and he sold the plot of land for almost nothing to another person, because as far as he was concerned, it was useless. But this guy was actually, I think the story is something like he was one of the people that sells the machinery. This guy went, oh, I don't believe this gold is gone. So he paid an engineer to come in and assess the ground, and he went, yeah, the seam's just changed direction. And they basically struck gold 3 feet from where he'd given up.
Oh, gutted.
And this guy ended up becoming one of the wealthiest men in America at that time. And when the guy who originally owned the plot of land found out about this, he said, I could be devastated. He said, but I actually used it as a learning. He ended up becoming a multi-millionaire insurance salesman, and actually the company that he started then is still in existence today.
I love that story.
He went, and what I learned was I never take no for an answer, because I've just got to find the right direction. Isn't it amazing?
Really, really wonderful.
So I think that's the thing with failure, isn't it? Is you could just be 3 feet away. So just pick yourself up and keep trying.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm getting this message again and again and again. It's just keep picking yourself back up again and keep going. And I think that if you are doing something that is your absolute bliss, and you feel like you were put on this earth to do it, but it's not quite cutting it, and you're finding blocks, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
So, top tip?
Ooh, I would say every time you experience what you would call a failure, to rename it as learning.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Mine is, when you are feeling at your lowest ebb, do something high vibration. Get on your yoga mat, do some meditating, go down to Glastonbury, burn some incense, do some chanting, go singing, go dancing, go roller skating, do anything, bounce on a trampoline. Do some stuff that brings your energy back up, so that you don't sit there in the feelings of the shame and the humiliation.
Gorgeous.
Great. Cool. Well, that's it for today, and we'll see you next time.
Bye for now.